Hello, everybody. This is James. Now, hang on one second. I have to check something out here before I go any further, if I can figure out how. Yeah, I have to check my microphone and make sure I got my... Yeah, that should be better. That should be the Yeti. All right. Hello, everybody. This is James Daniel, and it is Super Bowl Sunday. And I'm going to do a little short podcast here to keep some continuity going and see how it goes from here. So Taylor set us up and fired us up, but she's got projects going on at her house with kids everywhere, so she's going to let us ramble on her own. And I don't know whether she can hear me or not, or whether she knows whether or not we're working here or not, so I have to wait. It's one of those communication things. So give us a second and let it go. No idea. But we'll proceed as if we were 10-4, working on it all right, and see how it goes from there. So, what's up? Super Bowl. Many of you maybe have no interest whatsoever in that, and it's maybe long gone before you see this podcast, but we'll use that as a sort of departure. Because the question before the house is, we're about empowering with love. To do that, you need the actual power of it. To have the power of it, you need to not have other aspects of love or other things in your life. You need that power, that which comes from the very tip of the spear, which is where the power connects, which from any point of view is spirit. Spirit is that electrifying thing that gets something going, and it's relevant to something like football because that's what you need. That's why spirit is in the nature of all sports, which are pretty much gladiator things and have to do with victory over some opponent of some kind. But there's no way around the fact that you need spirit to win. That's sort of how that goes. And while there's a whole part of the consciousness of us that says love is not about winning, no, it's not all about winning. It's not about winning, but it is about spirit. And if we take that out, then love is impotent and life is under the duress of whatever does have spirit that is more significant than our absence of it. And if we see a lot of human beings in the world, we realize they're not living the spirit of their own nature. They're living the overriding spirit of some other nature, imposed upon them in a way that they can't say no to. And by not being able to say no to it, they have to say yes to it. And by saying yes to it, we make ourselves subservient to that spirit. And there's lots of spirits that are not those we would prefer. Because spirit is an energizing power, which while it may be relevant to a rock or to some other agency of nature, is not relevant to a human being who has the sensitivities of a God inside of us. So we need the spirit of a God. We need the spirit of a being so high that nothing can compare to it. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And coincidentally, on earth, in humanity, every single individual has that available to them. Because in a strange set of circumstances, it came to earth and joined us, which is a strange legend. The Christian legend, which is by now, to a lot of people, just a legend, like Hercules or something that happened way in the past. Arjuna on the battlefield of the Bhagavad Gita. We don't know. I'm just checking to see if Taylor's texted me loud and clear, which is 10-4. So our point of view at the Love Foundry is that you can empower yourself with the highest aspect of spirit available in the universe. Now, from a religious perspective, someone looks at that and says, oh, well, that's the God of all gods. Okay, I have no argument with that, because the highest spirit of a universe is going to certainly stand at that place. But that doesn't require that kind of thinking to connect directly with that kind of energy. It's already in us, free of charge. It's like once a being of that kind of magnitude decides to join something and declares itself present to it, it's kind of there. It's not a temporary thing. It's not a, well, we're going to do this for now and then I'll take it back later or something like that. There's none of that. Until we are free of the thing that caused that level of conscious spirit to come to our aid and to join us, until we are free of all of the necessity, it'll be there for us and with us. And by that time, we will have a significant aspect of our nature so completely engaged with it that separation from it is infinitely impossible for us. Now, that is an astounding idea, and one that a lot of people don't know whether it's true or not. The only way we're going to know if it's true or not is if we act on it as if it were true and see, does it prove itself in our experience? In your experience, not mine. I'm no authority here. I'm just another pebble on the beach, another grain of sand. And so we have to do this together. Together we have to find out. And if we find out, we have to decide together, is that an improvement on the already rambunctious experience that we're having as a human race? And do we want to continue to include it? Or do we want to tell it to piss off and we'll do without it? Thank you. We're doing just fine. Now, I wouldn't rush to judgment on rejecting the greatest spirit in the universe. So I'm going to give it a fair chance. And then I'll see. And here's the point of view I'd like you to see about it, is that when you join something of that nature, the spirit nature and the spirit nature of the highest spirit nature, then you're joining something that can give you significant improvement over the limitations of your own spirit, the human spirit, the spirit of entrepreneurship, the spirit of let's go get them, let's have a good life, let's go make things happen, let's cook up something worth doing. So the thing that it can give you, in addition to some support in that department, is a perfect point of view, because it has one. As the creator of all things in the universe, including our little tiny world, that spirit has in its nature the ability to see all options and outcomes and to include itself in all of your options and outcomes and all the options and outcomes that you recommend to the universe as something you think is worthwhile for you, which is friendship, homage, great unity, gifts of life and love and art. When we look at other civilizations that we're pissed off at because they've done something wrong, the Babylonians did something wrong. I don't know what it would have been. I wasn't in any of those Babylonian dramas that I can remember, so I'm not angry at the Babylonians or the Egyptians or the Hindus or the Romans, for that matter. I probably could be angrier at some of my Christian friends because they're closer to the experience that I've had. And I can get pissed off at religion or something, but it's not necessary, because this inclusive point of view is unified with all things of value and spirit. So by supporting it and asking it to support us, it supports the best in all those things. And if you support the best in something, it's going to move it towards that experience, the best of it, not the worst of it, not the part I don't like, not the part that harms, not the part that irritates and causes distinct negativity with other creators around us or creations, but that part which hums with us, which harmonizes with us, which brings everything into a co-creative place. And I always feel like if we look at the music and the art of the other parts of our human experience, we are immediately taken out of the enmity that we have towards those parts, past, present, or future, and we're brought into the beauty and the harmony that co-creates with us this world of beauty and harmony. So looking at the highest spirit I can find in me, I also find the pure art of that spirit is something that just sings in me. It sings the same song, the song of life, the song of joy, the song of unity. That's the music of that spirit. And that's the unifying music of the whole earth. And what gives beauty to a child's smile, regardless of whose child it is. So while you're thinking about the Super Bowl and planning your potato chips and beer, think about the highest spirit you can imagine, the tip of the spear, the perfection of all perfections, the fountainhead of all creative gifts of the universe, not just our little planet, our little solar system, our little constellation, our little corner of the galaxy, our little piece of an infinite number of galaxies, but the whole thing, the one pure spirit that pours out into the material universe and says, yes, yes to everything. That is the tip of the spear. And the idea that that could be present with you, in you, is just a shocking idea. It's a shocking idea that came about as a result of us needing to discover that that was true, that that had happened for us, because humanity was in a place where it was in danger, as it always is. We're crossing the West in a wagon train. There's always some damn thing coming up in front of us to deal with. So things intercede. There's that in nature which loves humanity, orphan of the universe though we are, and says, I don't want this group to fail. But I also do not want to take its free will away from it. I want it to develop its free will and grow itself to the point where it chooses the tip of the spear, because that's the part it wants to know. That's the part it wants to make a part of its free will, a part of its spirit nature, a part of its love nature, a part of its human nature. We have that in us to do that. And there's something in nature that encourages us to do that. So I suggest we do that and find out from the doing of that whether that kind of power flowing in us is good, feels good, expresses as good, makes our life good, changes the things in our life that aren't good to something that is better and then maybe good. And I think it's important that we take the time, no matter what else we're doing, to not push that ahead of us, not to say, I'll get to that later. It's a little beyond my reach. No, it's not beyond our reach. It's right there. It's right there. So we don't have to push it to arm's reach. We can actually invite it in. We can empower ourselves with it. Now, if there's something in you that says, I don't know, should I do that or not, then let's talk it over. That's what we do at the Love Foundry. We have a workshop for those that want to work it out, talk it over, figure it out, decide, and then choose to do that. And having chosen to do that, experience the impact on our lives as we do it, continuously from within us. Make it not a temporary thing like we go down and get ourselves a yogurt at the yogurt shop, and that was really good, especially if it's vanilla with marshmallow topping. I love that flavor. However, we do this in a way that gives us a permanent knowing we're connected, which is the free will part, by the way, because if your will acts on something continuously, you know it. And as you know it, you get to know it. You get to know what it is you're acting on. And you're starting to build a foundation of knowing in your universe, in your life. And if you build a foundation of knowing love and knowing the spirit of love in you and how it works through you, then that becomes part of your foundation. And if you like it, you increase it. You can't build that unknowingly. In order for it to uphold us, uphold our life, we have to have a conscious knowing that we are doing that. That's what makes free will stronger and stronger and stronger until it eventually has the strength of that spirit itself. Think about that. Think about that spirit, which is the tip of the spear, the highest spirit in the universe, growing power in you without having any adverse or negative impact on your individuality, the part that makes you, me, and everyone else. That's growing stronger as well with that. Now, if that were possible to us, with all the implications of what that means, the immortality of it, the endlessness of it, the conquering of death, the conquering of disease, the conquering of all illness, if those implied things could be growing stronger in reality in us, then that's not a bad thing. And if it's already in us, which I hold that it is, otherwise the Love Foundry is going to have some difficulty finding it if it isn't already in us, because that's where it belongs. So if it's in us, and if it's willing, and if it's something that we just can reach out and touch and tap and bring in, why aren't we doing that? Why has not everyone done that? Well, we find out the moment we try to do it, the moment we act on that, the moment we act towards including that, it brings up some kind of resistance in us. Now we look at the resistance and we decide, oh, I'd rather have the resistance than I would the spirit, because the resistance is something the spirit doesn't satisfy. But in actual fact, when you look close at what you're doing, you realize it doesn't have any argument with your resistance. Sorry, resistance was over here. It doesn't have any argument with your resistance. It's like, okay, what would resist it? I'm mad at my neighbor, so that resists the spirit of love. Well, yeah, no, the spirit of love is not going to get mad at your neighbor for you or join you in your anger, because it's not real to the spirit of love. Anger's not real in the spirit of love. It's just an illusion we've cooked up in our emotional body. And so why would it justify that? Why would it give its enormous power of reality to something as stupid as anger at your neighbor because he cut down the tree that you were stealing apples off of? Well, so you don't have to fight with it. You can live your life. It will still be there. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be there for service at what is good, at what is strengthening, at what is common to the great group life that we share. That it will always do. Just don't ask it to do stuff that's petty and cheap and destructive, because it won't serve that end. You can still go do it, but by doing that, you're putting kind of a separation between you and that spirit. Why do we want to do that? Well, because we fear something, or we think we're going to gain something, or some other reason that we can cook up. Well, we have to work that out in our consciousness of, is that really true? Are we really going to gain something through revenge, through stealing something else, through getting some other thing that someone else is fighting you for? Is that really going to benefit us? And is there a better way to get it without that? Well, we won't know unless we employ that spirit on our behalf to help us do it in a way that's not negative. Maybe we can share the space. Maybe we can share the apples. Maybe we can build something together. If that's the spirit of all things in the universe, there's probably a good chance we can work together within it. These are the things we find out that are true or not true in us only one way, by entering into a relationship to that energy, which is that spirit. Now, you don't have to put any person, Jesus or Buddha or a number of others we could name, we don't have to put anything between us and that. You don't need a priest to tell you that it's okay. You don't need a priest to interpret the language of the gods and then tell you what the God is saying. It's in you. Your ears are perfectly capable of interpreting the language. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use a priest or someone else to help interpret that spirit for you. If you want to, you can have a whole bunch of people gathered around you and you can all talk it over. But in the isolation and loneliness of a mountaintop or a cave or a desert, you can stand and face that in you and talk it over. Put it into contact with you and embrace its truth with your truth, beyond words, beyond emotion, beyond ego, beyond all intellect. You can just touch each other. Your individuality and its absolute unity. And take a breath together. Share the breath. How do we feel right now? How do we feel with each other right now? And share its way of feeling towards you, which is absolute ecstatic joy, or your feeling towards it, which might be trepidation, concern, and anxiety. That's okay. Share the breath. Then take another one. Keep breathing that in, and it will eventually circulate through your whole system. Because that's what happens with what we take in our breath, especially if you've identified that in your consciousness. If you've used your intellect to identify that in your consciousness and said, I'm going to take that in my breath. I'm going to let that impress my thoughts. I'm going to let that impress my blood. I'm going to let that impress my nerves, my bones, my being, my glands. I'm going to be impressed by that. And I'm going to say, okay, that's good. Give me some more. That's good. Give me some more. I'm feeling better now. I feel healthier now. Give me some more. And the sicker we are, and we're all ill, trust me, there is no human being fresh out of mom that isn't beginning to struggle with something in their nature. They took on a germ they now got to defeat. They took on something that was an imperfection they've got to perfect. And the older we get, the more of these seem to somehow show up. But there is that which improves your health. That spirit is perfect health on any level, anywhere in this or any universe. So take it in. And then there is that which makes us unhealthy. Breathe it out. Take in that. Now you can not think about it at all. Just breathe the air around you. And if you do that, if you're in Shanghai, you maybe cough a little. I remember living in LA in the 60s, way back, when the smog level with the sulfur in it was so high that you couldn't take a deep breath. They bitch about, oh, look at the clouds in Hong Kong, look at the clouds in Peking. Yeah. Well, we had acid rain that would take the leaves off a tree. So you can just breathe in what's around you. But if you take in that essence, the highest essence of spirit in you on the breath with it, because you have to keep breathing. This is Earth. You may be in a coal mine, but you've got to breathe. So take it in with it. Ask it to make you healthy while other things are working to damage health. And as that competition goes on in your body, you'll find that nothing can stand in the face of that power. That's the empowerment of love we are seeking to instill in every human being, which, because it's already there, you don't have to drink a bottle of elixir like Alice in Wonderland and grow tall or small. You simply take a breath and consciously invite it through. Take it in. Bring it down into our level of coexistence. It's there. That wasn't a myth. It happened. It's still happening. You can love the story. You can make the story your life. You can join a church and become a religion about the story. But either way, the spirit itself is there to take in. And many who live the story have forgotten the spirit of it. No fault, no blame. It's hard to remember. There's a lot of adverse things in the world and a plethora of rabbit holes to go down that we can do that keep that from being fresh and alive and dynamic and healing in our life moment to moment to moment. So for our Super Bowl day, do whatever you're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, join a few friends, and take that breath in while I'm doing that. And because I don't have necessarily the constant habit of that, I'll forget. I'll get excited because somebody completed a pass to somebody, and then the camera zoomed in on Taylor Swift, and everybody went, oh, that could happen to me, and I could lose my balance for a second and get caught in the romance. But I'm going to go on and hold that breath and remember it. Hold on, somebody's trying to call me, and this is a busy kind of day. So I'm going to hold that breath and keep it coming. I'm going to, if I forget it when the event's over, I'm going to remember it, and I'm going to go back to touching it and taking it in and sharing it with the room, sharing it with my body, sharing it with my friends. I don't have to proselytize it. I'm proselytizing it a bit with you because that's what the Love Foundry is here to do, to help people clear the brush out of the way, get connected to the tip of the spear, breathe that into our lives, and make the power of it a part of our human power, and then that brings in spiritual power, and that brings in divine power, and the power of that which is all power. And there's nothing against that. There's nothing against that anywhere in the universe. There's only that which doesn't recognize it yet because it doesn't know how. That's going about its business, paving over the world, because that's what feels good to it. But if we're in touch with that, and it's in touch with our heart, and our heart is in touch with our life, then we say, wait a minute, let's not pave that over too quick because there's things that live there. Let's see if we can accommodate that living while we accommodate why we're paving it over. What do we need more pavement for? Do we need another parking lot, or have we got a lot of parking lots already? And so there's this warring spirit of this part of us that says, no, tear up all the parking lots, blow up all the dams, get rid of everything that interferes with nature. But at the same time, there's 8 billion of us. We just keep breeding for some reason. And we need to be healthy and happy and strong. And with the insight from perfect perception, from the perception of perfect spirit, from the perception of love, we probably can do it. Everything will gradually shift itself into a harmony with every other atom of nature and all of their evolutionary needs. I don't know where mosquitoes are going, but I suppose there's a place for them in that evolution that's in harmony with humanity, other than poking a proboscis into me and taking a drop of my blood. And coming from Alaska, I can tell you that too many mosquitoes is not a good thing. The odd mosquito, unless you're from down in South America where you're going to get malaria from it, can hurt you. So let's enjoy ourselves. But while we're doing that, and you're thinking about the rest of your life, the rest of your plan for yourself, where you're going on vacation, what you're going to do, all of that, think about connecting to the tip of the spear in you. And if you need any help, the Love Foundry will do it while you do all of that. And watch how greater health is the result on every level of our being. And greater health in your life, and greater health in your business, greater health in your business of every kind, in your relationships. Connect to that spirit. That's the one that needs to be spread abroad and enter into every aspect of human affairs in every consciousness, because it lies in every one, whether we're using it or not using it. It's there in us. So putting it to use in us starts to balance everything that's out of balance, starts to bring power into everything that needs the power of perfect love and perfect balance and perfect spirit. Then materialism, which is now becoming the enemy of the human race, and we're all going to start rejecting materialism. There's nothing wrong with materialism. There's nothing wrong with things. There is something wrong with an imbalance of it, too much of it. That demonstrates not an imbalance in it, it demonstrates an imbalance in us. Because automatically, if we take in more of that pure essence that is our essence in the universe, we have less hunger and desire for that which is not that. And we come into balance with it. And then we take enough to have enough, and we leave the rest for that which is using it, like the ocean and the seashore and the animals and the creatures and the various kingdoms of plant and mineral and human. All right. Thank you very much for joining this short pod of the Love Foundry and our idea of empowering you with love, because that's what's up. Thank you very much. Let me send a text to my friend Taylor. Oh boy, you just turn your back and texts start mounting up. Okay. Now let's see. I've got to tell her to push it. See, I'm on a leg of this journey out there in the hinterland somewhere, and she's where the real control is. So she'll push a button and we'll hear Ethan's song on the way out while we think about what's up next. Maybe pizza, I don't know for sure. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It's in you. It's right there. And it's coming back towards you. It's looking at you. You can see a face in it if you want. Okay, Taylor, what happened to the exit? You didn't hit the exit music.
I'm hitting the exit. I just wanted to make sure it's a good time.
Oh, you're just checking in with me.
So
Yeah,
thank
we
you for
just
joining.
finished up. Me and my little padres out there, we finished up, and we're just about to order pizza for the party.
I'm there. I'm on my way.
You're on your way. Okay. It does come up to be done. So, yeah, thanks for joining in for a minute.
Yeah, thank you for your service there, Dan, leading
Well,
this
we're
parade.
just talking to people about what I was talking to you about. That's the tip of the spear.
I can't wait to listen in for all
Yeah,
the parts
well,
I missed. So I will sign us out, and we'll see you soon.
all right.